All right, welcome everyone. I think we already have a few people here.
Okay,
Um,
yeah. I think I can see it
yeah.
now.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the final session of week two, for After Hours. It's been an interesting journey, man. Like it's been 2 weeks, but for some reason it feels like it's been longer than that. But we've had some dope sessions over the last week, and today we're about to talk to somebody really special and about something that's really interesting as well, something that's important to everybody, and a huge part of like the future that we're entering into. So, give it up for Miracle. We have Miracle who also goes by Black Poser, and honestly, I don't even know what we're going to be talking about today because like we haven't really had a conversation. So I'm looking forward to be like surprised and blown away. But he's going to be introducing us to virtual worlds and 3D spaces. And from what I've heard, it's going to be an interactive and follow along process. So I suggest we swap to our computers if we're using phones and just be ready for whatever miracle is about to drop. But yeah, I'm going to give Miracle a chance to introduce
Like,
himself and just talk a little bit before we get started. But welcome, Miracle. The stage is yours.
all right, thank you guys. Um, I'm Miracle, and I'd say I'm a do of things. So I think I would normally say like I'm a 3D artist or augmented reality creator, but I feel like I've dealt so much in like different forms of design and art as an expression. So I'll just say like I'm a do of things. So, but like for this live stream, I'll be a 3D artist, or should I say a 3D generalist. So we're basically going to be, should I say, we'll be tackling like a project. So it's it's nothing complex. So for things like virtual spaces, there are like so many platforms, and sometimes it's like very easy to get confused. So like I'll just pick like the simplest platform, and we'll try to like create like a virtual space there. And I believe like for me, I feel like learning is easier when like you're actually like doing it as opposed to like when you go to like read up about it or someone is presenting like a process for you. Like when you actually do it, like I feel like you get to understand it. And while you're trying to like do these things, you can then ask questions while like you're sorting it out. So um in this should I call it live stream, yeah? In this live stream we'll create like a space. I think that would take like an hour. Not like we're actually creating it. So like I created a space before now, so I just have to share the files. Then maybe now, maybe later you can like just get the files and try to like replicate it or like just build your own virtual space, basically. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're basically just like tackling like a project. I would have wanted to like maybe do um a space and maybe an avatar, but I think that would like take more time. So we just try to like do the space first and see like how much time I have left and maybe like an avatar. So yeah, I have issues with like my cam. So I use like a gaming laptop and this particular version lacks a webcam. I'm not really sure why like this certain one lacks a webcam. So it doesn't have a webcam. So I was trying to like use my phone as a webcam, but that seems to lag because it appears like well the phone devices has like maybe should I say like it's more high definition compared to like what you would see on the webcam. So it's lagging. So I don't know if we're allowed to start now or like you'd want to ask me any question.
Yeah, yeah.
We can
Also,
proceed.
can you hear me properly? Because my headphones just died. So I'm using my camera audio. Please let me
Yeah,
know my.
I
Okay,
can hear
cool.
you.
I think that's really exciting. The idea that we're going to be tackling something live. But before we even get into that, let's create some context, right? So we're going to be working on a 3D virtual space, right?
Okay.
Let's, for the purpose of just for everybody and their skill level. Let's take it like a few levels back, right? So this is 2023 right now,
Okay.
and I don't think that there's anybody who will say they haven't heard of the word virtual, or they haven't heard like metaverses or 3D spaces. Can you talk us through like the evolution of 3D, right? And I know you cannot talk about the entire thing, obviously, because it's going to be long, but can you walk us through in a context that is relevant for creators, for people that are building, for people who are curious, or people who are just creative? Can you tell us why we should even be interested in 3D virtual spaces? Like, what is a 3D virtual space? What is the utility in terms of like how it can help us, benefit us, different use cases? Just maybe go around all of those different concepts and ideas, and then we can jump in. Does that make sense? Hello, am I Rogan?
Okay.
No, you're not rugging, bro. I think he's having a lag in his network.
Okay, okay. But yeah, did you hear all I
Okay, I
said?
thought it was me. Can you hear me fine?
I can hear you
Yeah,
now.
you can.
Okay. Yeah, so basically, what's 3D? I won't say like I can explain the evolution of 3D, but like the whole point is, um, should I say worlds? So like if you think about it, like before we had tech, before we had camera, and before we had everything, when people try to replicate what is in the real world, when people try to create basically an experience that it starts from the physical world to the virtual world, they use multidisciplinary
Miracle, we lost you again. Oh, he's gone.
Yeah, I think we
Okay.
lost him.
All right, let's just do a quick vibe check. I believe he's trying to sort out his technical issues. So, who's here? Who's on stage? Who's present in this live stream right now? Can we see some feedback in the comments? I'm already excited because like we're about to get really into the technical side of things. So if there's anybody here who's excited about this space, let's know your expectations. What are you looking forward to? If you have any questions as well for Miracle around just the introduction of what we're about to do, please just drop them in the comments, and whenever he comes back, we're going to jump right into that. Jesse, how you feeling, man?
I'm doing good, bro. I'm doing good, bro. I had to do a quick health check, but I'm excited to be back. Shout out to everybody that's kept it down, that's locked it down on here on After Hours. Shout out to all the ninjas in the house. Shout out to Floats. Shout out to all our amazing speakers that have come so far to enlighten everybody. Today is the final day for week 2 on this program, and I've been following up as much as I've not been present. I've been following up with the other spaces, and wow, I must say, fascinating, bro. Great work. I saw the other speakers that come on here just do fascinating things, man. And I'm excited to have witnessed that still, even in my absence. And I'm sure that everybody has been able to learn a couple amazing things through the spaces that have gone so far. I'm excited for this one. I'm glad I could make it. Thank God for life. Thank God for health. And shout out to everybody, man. I see people already dropping in their comments. Welcome back. Shout out to you, Bri. Thank you so much. Shout out to you, Nano. I see your comments. Shout out to you, Kemi. Shout out to everybody, man. I'm looking forward to this one, and let's have a great time.
Awesome. All right. Let me do a quick check in with Miracle to see if everything is okay before he comes back in. So give me a second.
All right, all right, all right. While he does that quick check-in with Miracle, please, guys, if you haven't followed the After Hours program, if you haven't followed us on our socials, do follow Floats on our Instagram, on Twitter at Floats Anywhere. Right? Let's put posts out there. Let's put out screenshots, whatever. Let's
Okay.
signify people that this is
Can you hear me?
happening. All right. He's back. We can read you. We can
Yeah, I
read you
can hear
loud and
you
clear.
now.
Okay.
All right.
I'm not sure what happened. I think I switched my PC switched network.
That's all right. No problem. Let's just pick up
But
wherever.
like, is there lag in my audio or anything?
No, you sound good so far.
Okay,
I guess I spoke too soon because you're lagging.
I
can
think
you hear
cell
me?
service is crappy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
we
can.
can hear you.
Oh man.
You're good for now, Miracle.
Okay, can everyone hear me now?
Yeah, we can.
Yep.
I think we're having
Okay,
moments now.
let's just like get into it. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. But I was speaking about the evolution of 3D, and I said before we had like tech as a whole, before we had cameras, before we had PCs, for people to like recreate experiences, for people to like recreate what's in the physical, they had to like paint it, or they had to draw it, or they had to sketch it. Then when cameras came, it was easy to like just capture the moment with cameras, and you're able to do that with videos. But like those mediums, cameras, and whichever medium you had before then, they were flat, they were 2D. The way we experienced them was just like how you see like flat images. So like you just look at them, they're plain. So what 3D is like basically I feel like is a loop. So we started from like a very, very basic experience of sketching and drawing and painting. Then we had to like get into like cameras, which is like basically trying to replicate what was real. But it was real in the sense that it was not as experiential as like the physical. So it wasn't 3D basically. So then we go to 3D, which is spatial. So like in 3D, you're not just seeing like a flat image, you're seeing like the depth of the image. And now we have like 3D films and all of that. So I feel like 3D is basically now taking us back to like the physical was like an extended experience. So when you think of um like a virtual space, I'll just call it like an online environment. Basically like it's simulated by basically computers, like how we have games and all of that. So the point of this is like what whatever we have in like in what we call the physical world, we could have like in the virtual space. So it's like a spectrum between like physical and like totally virtual. So we think of in the spectrum, I would say at the far end is like a physical world, like what we have, like we can actually see without like the aid of any technology. So that's like the far end of the spectrum. And then the other end is like totally virtual and totally like you're basically removing the real space. You're basically removing everything physical from like the experience. Then between that is where we now have mixed reality. So for mixed reality, you have AR and VR. So AR is on the side that is close to the physical, which is augmented reality. So you're basically overlaying elements. So these elements can be 2D elements, it can be 3D elements. But because of the way these 2D elements are being overlaid on the physical world, you can still say like it's 3D because you can make like a flat image have like shadows and like have depth. So that's AR. Then after AR, you have like VR, which is like totally on the other side of the spectrum. So that's like the evolution of 3D from like what I understand. So me, my introduction to 3D was basically from school. So I studied like mechanical engineering, and for for you to produce something or for you to like create some things, you need to like um initially before we had computers, you need to sketch it. So when you sketch it, you sketch like different you sketch and draw like different angles of that particular product. So you sketch like the front, like when you look at it from front, sketch look at one side, and all of these angles. So someone has to like look at these images and put it together to like try to see like how does it look when it is in the real world? How does it look in 3D? Like how would it look if you're holding it? So with PCs and should I say what are they called? They're CAD software. So like with 3D softwares, people are able to like make these models before you physically make it. So um that's like a very like important use case of what 3D is. So you can basically iterate, you can make versions of a model, you can create like variability of a model, you can create variability like variables of a particular model before you actually create it. So um for example, if you if you're going to like work on should I say like a water bottle now, and you have like different variations of that water bottle to see like what works, like what's very comfortable and like what's the best like way to make this product. Ideally, people would like actually make the model or actually make this like 3D print it, not 3D print it, they actually make what's it called? It's called a cast. People actually like should I say mold it, like actually make the physical model and make different versions, to, like test what works and what's essential. But when you can like have this model in the 3D space and you can actually see it like with a PC or a VR headset before you actually produce it, and people like can see like how basically how it looks like. Because when it's in that space, you it's almost like it's in the real world because like it has like that depth and all of that. So what's like the should I say advantages of 3D as a whole? I would say the first thing is it's sustainable. That's not the first thing, but like when it comes to like the should I say economical aspect, like it's sustainable. So like I said initially, if you're going to like create like a toy, or you're going to create like a fashion item, or you're going to create anything, it just works better when you create it like in virtual space, and whoever is supposed to like the consumers can actually get that, and you get to gauge like which works, like which of this product works better, like which of this product do they want more, which of this product they have demand for before you actually like physically make it, like actually make the actual item. So for example, it doesn't make sense like work on like a product and actually now produce like 50,000 of it and nobody wants, like there's no demand for it basically, when you could have like just made like the 3D model of this thing and you know like okay, this should have had this like particular feature, or it should have been a bit longer, or it should have been like it should have had like something else to it. Then you know that it works. Just hold on. Yes, sir. So that's like one advantage. I think the other advantage is uh this is a very very like it depends on how the model is, but like with a 3D model you can actually rapid prototype, so you can like actually easily create models. For example, you could have like a 3D model of a shoe, and if like that particular shoe material is just plastic or it's just rubber or it's just like a certain material, you can just 3D print it with that material, and you actually have like your shoe like that's ready to go to the market, like pretty easy. Then the other method is um like making connections. So moving away from products, like actually having spaces. So while I feel people are still trying to like figure out like proper use cases of 3D spaces, the simple ones are basically galleries. Because everybody that does like a virtual space like probably has like something to showcase. So um galleries for like 3D spaces. Another way is like a way to like meet people. So you probably like guess how the world has probably switched like from 2022 when like COVID hit and people like had most of their meetings virtually. So we did like a lot of Google Meets and all of that. But with Google Meets, there's the I would say it's like is a bland experience like meeting people on Google Meet. So if you want to like take it to the next level, then you can actually meet like in the virtual space. So that's one other use case of like a 3D space. So you could meet in a virtual space with like a 3D model and all of that. Then I would say another advantage is I would say this other advantage I'm going to talk about is well that depends on how realistic it is. So I would say it's just like another method for people to experience, should I say, new media, because we'll probably have like people creating new forms of art. I'll just say like AR art, 3D art, like new forms of art, like new experiences, new ways to um like bring ideas to life. So is I'll say this particular advantage is like how to explain it, it's complex, but it's basically like having 3D. I know like this 3D is like almost the replica of the physical one, but like with this 3D one, you can like basically do like different iterations. You can basically do like different edits that won't like that's not like detrimental to the environment and all of that. But like you can do all of these edits and like quickly rapid prototype, basically rapid test, like rapidly visualize like all of this. But I think when people think about 3D also, people always want it to be like realistic. But depends on I feel like it depends on the experience and the story you're trying to tell. So that's also another use case of like 3D, like storytelling. So as much as people try to say like try to limit 3D to like models and spaces, films are 3D. But like I'm not trying to like go too deep into like actual film. But like if you're trying to like make a certain experience, you're trying to do like um run like a certain ad, you don't need to like make it like realistic. There's a certain style you could like make your 3D in. And that's like something that's only possible in like 3D. You could actually have like like video footages of like actual camera footages and like be able to like mix it and tweak it with 3D. So that's basically like something that's should I say like it's an elevated level like of experience that you would not have like with the flat surface. So like I said, it's like a loop. So we came from like the actual real physical world, like tangible things, and we try to replicate and recreate. So you have like abstract art. So basically, if you're doing like an abstract art of something, or abstract art, the word abstraction is like you have the human heart. So the realistic version of a human heart is like the actual one you would get from like anatomy. So like the beating heart, like having the veins and all of that blood and all of that. That's like realistic. And sometimes, like I said, realistic does not work because like if you're going so realistic, sometimes it's gore. So abstraction is like the other end of the spectrum where you could have like the heart emoji. So it's just like that heart and it's colored red, and you see that represents the heart too. Then you could go further down the abstraction and actually make like a um box and make the color of the box red, and you see that's also heart. So that's basically how you tell stories. Some of these will apply to like certain ways of like certain methods of how you're trying to tell your story and all of that. I think that's pretty much um
Absolutely,
uh
absolutely. Yeah, I think you definitely gave us a great introduction into that, so it's clear for me. One last question before we jump in: can you give us some examples of some 3D experiences or 3D artworks or 3D, basically use cases of 3D that you've seen over the last couple of years, and like how those things have been able to solve these problems that you just described? So like problems with like expressing beyond physical barriers, sustainability, etc. So give us some real world example, maybe with brands or with like creators or something, so that we can go look at that and have like a much more visual context. Right after that, then we can jump into the live session.
okay, sure. So I'll just give like what I mentioned like three I mentioned like actual like 3D models, I mentioned 3D spaces, and what else? I mentioned like XR, basically like an elevated level of like what 3D is. So the first one like with like 3D model, um uh should I say there's this particular Nike experience where you could like tweak the materials of like the particular sneakers, like pick the colors of every portion of the sneakers, and when you're done, you just submit it. Like you actually order it, and you're able to get like what you designed. So that's like a use case for 3D, like in the product, or should I say, fashion world, in the product design world. So you have like a shoe, or you have like whatever model. It's basically what's it called? It's called I can't remember what it's called now. But like you basically
Try
have
on.
this
Or
model.
you can try on or a customization or something like that.
Yeah, trying is different. Trying is like on the AI side. But like should I say like a customization basically. So you customize it in 3D. So you're not necessarily like wearing it or anything. Like you just see the model, you can like float around, like basically rotate around this model, and you can change the material for the lace, change the material for the sole, maybe change the colors of like whatever material is on any part of this thing, and you can then order it using that what you've customized basically. So with that, you could like it's like a new way for people to create new should I say to create new versions of like existing product without actually having to like actually make this physical product. So if you think of like a way to do that without having 3D or AR, it would be like you telling like reaching out to Nike to actually customize this for you, and they do it. Like you just tell them put this material here, put all of this here, and they send it to you, and you actually then do not like it. So, but when you have to do it with like a 3D experience, you just have to like you're basically seeing the shoe as it is, like you're seeing the model as it is in 3D, and you're able to customize like all of that, and you're able to sort that out. That's like for on the product design side. So for
So guys, I
spaces,
just posted. Sorry, Marco. I just
uh,
posted the link. I
a
think I
good
found.
use case, I wouldn't like call it brand. I'll just say spatial because I'm even going to be using spatial now. So spatial solves the problem of um um should I say the gallery thing I mentioned. So spatial basically helps you like create like a virtual gallery, a virtual meeting place, like just a virtual place, like a space to like just um for creators, a space to create like immersive experience, and for consumers, the space for you to like experience like um a 3D experience. So like the special example is like the should I say the space example in the simplest form. Then the other one is like XR, AR, VR. So that's when you have like try-ons. I believe that's the most accessible one because with AR you can basically always use an AR experience with your phone as compared to like VR. So you could have like a brand that makes glasses or a brand that makes sneakers, and you could continually try on these glasses. Well, with AR too, you could also have the point where you could customize it to where you can actually change the material of the glass and actually try it on. But the difference between like this particular AR one and the one I mentioned with Nike is like what you're doing in the Nike one is like you're seeing it via your screen, and you're able to like hover around the model, but you're not trying it on. But like with AI, you could possibly try it on and still customize the model. And perhaps I've not seen like an AI experience where you're able to like customize it and have to like should I say order it the way you've customized basically. Maybe the easy way is for you to like try on the glasses, like tweak the materials, what is provided to you, and maybe you take a screenshot and share like with the manufacturer. But like with the AI one, I think it's pretty easy because like they actually get it. Like the materials that they give you or the options that they give you are actually what they have, and when you share with them, they know like what they're basically meant to do. But AI is more, should I say? Well, I still believe it depends on like the actual experience, but that's an AI. So that these are basically like the easiest examples of these experiences I can give.
That makes sense. Cool. Let me just run that back for everybody. So I've also added some links. There's some links that are going up on the screen. So the Nike experience, I think, is called Nike by You, and yeah, it also works for things like jerseys and some of the other products that they make. And like Miracle says, it's basically like you customizing the product in the way that you want and seeing what the final output is going to be, and then ordering it as well. So it's more than just like a 3D custom experience. It also like for social commerce as well, and for like just like the product life cycle, because I've seen that same technique being used for other types of products like cars, physical items, things that can come in different variations in colors and shapes and different things like that. So without 3D, something like that is not possible. Somebody said more like photogrammetry. Precious Opara, I don't know what you mean by that question, but um what is photogrammetry, Marco? Can you tell us a little bit? Because that's also something I've been hearing about a lot lately. Mic check.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mike, I can hear you.
photogrammetry. Should for photogrammetry, yeah. So
I think he's having the network
Yeah,
glitches
he's getting
again.
wrecked.
okay, can you guys hear me well? I think it's Jizz's
Yeah,
network.
we can.
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm fine. It's actually your network, Miracle. There might be a bit of a
Okay, it's my
lag.
own. Wow.
Yeah, but I think it's fine now. Um,
Yeah, it is.
okay, let's move on. And then Miracle,
Yeah.
sorry,
So
one more thing,
basically,
right?
I
Before
wanted
you
to explain the photogrammetry thing.
okay, cool. Go ahead. After you explain
Yeah. So
photography,
like,
I want you to show us like some stuff that you've done, like some 3D work that you've done. If you could share your screen for that, that can now be a good way to just segue into spatial. But I don't want to interrupt you again, so let's go in that line. So explain photogrammetry, show us your work, and jump right into it.
yeah. So for photogrammetry, you're basically that would be under having to create a 3D model. So I've probably touched on like so many things and said so many things about 3D models. So like how do you actually make this 3D model? So there are two main methods that I know of. So the first one is actually getting a 3D modeler or a 3D artist or someone who does 3D to actually make a 3D model for you. So if you have like a shoe or you have like earphones or whatever, you get someone to like actually make it for you. Then for photogrammetry is I think that's the technique that's used for 3D scanning. So you're able to like um take images, like take images of that product, like a 360 image, like you take like a lot of images of the product basically around the product, and there's probably a software that stitches it together to make your 3D model. So that's like another way of getting like a 3D model. So having a 3D modeler to do it for you or using 3D scanning or photogrammetry. I think Jesus put put up like a definition of what it is.
Yes, perfect. All right. I hope that answers your question,
Yo,
Precious.
what was the other question?
No, that was it. So the next thing we want to see is like, can you show us some of your 3D work over the course of your career? Just things that you've worked on, so that we can get a sense of the visuals of the things that you're talking about. And then once you're done with that, we can get into the live build. So you might need to share your screen for that.
Okay, okay. Yeah, let me just share my screen straight.
Yeah, I think if you have like a portfolio already prepared, that's fine. If not, then you can just take them from wherever they are, whether it's social media, the
Okay,
website.
let me open it up. Um, what's it called? Uh, just give me a minute. Let me try to get it.
No problem. Jesse, how are we feeling?
We're feeling good. We're feeling good. I hope everybody's also feeling good as well. Um, Shout out to you, Miracle, already. I see we have questions coming in still. We'll have time to take the questions when Miracle is ready. While he sets up still, I hope everybody's good. I hope everybody is feeling excited still. Can I see like some responses on the comment section? Put a fire emoji or put a heart emoji, something. Let's know that you guys are following. You guys are here.
Somebody said there's an AI that generates 3D models now. I think sometime in this conversation that would be something interesting to talk about, maybe much later. But I've
Yeah.
also come across that, and I'm curious to hear what Miracle thinks.
All right, all right. I think I'm just getting the feedback from the emojis now. All right, guys.
Okay,
All right.
someone ask a question?
It wasn't necessarily a question, really, but he just said there's an AI that generates 3D models now.
Yeah, I don't think I've tried any of those, but I believe they're yeah, they're definitely AI that generates 3D models. But I can't say um for the name. Hmm, I'll try to think of it. An API for Blender. I don't think I know an API for Blender that generates the model. It doesn't generate the model. The API not the API, the add-on for Blender. What it does is you create your model and you now have to you use it to like should I say to create variations of like what you've rendered. So you create like a model or you create whatever you're doing, like you create whatever you're doing in 3D, then you're able to use the add-on to like tweak it, like just create like various variation of that particular render. For the link, it's very difficult to find this thing like at the moment because like my hands are tied. But
That's all right.
mm,
There's something
yeah, maybe
wrong with
just
the way
maybe
that you're
Google it
sharing
or
your
something like
screen.
that.
Miracle, there's something wrong with the way you're sharing your screen.
Okay, what's
I
that?
suggest that you share. Okay, cool, perfect. It's fixed now. Never mind.
Okay, yeah. So I just opened up my portfolio. So um I think it contains like about seven of um projects I've worked on. So they might not necessarily be 3D or AR, but I think about five or six of them are 3D and AR. So basically just start. So like these are softwares that I work with. So there's Blender on this side. I don't know if this the screen actually shares like my mouse position. Like this Blender, this is
Yeah, it does.
Blender is basically like a software for creating like okay, so Blender is software for creating uh basically 3D models. You could use it to like create 3D models. You could use it to like make 3D animation. You could use it to do a lot of things. You could use it to like work on um what's it called? Like you could use it to like work on video footages. You could use it for CGI, VFX, like a lot of things. This is Spark AR, but it has been changed to Meta Spark. So it's basically like a suit that was created by Meta. So you use it to create AR experiences for Instagram and Facebook. This is Unity. Uh, Unity is basically a game engine, but what I use it for is to create like 3D experiences. So I do not have like I'm not so proficient in it to the extent that I can actually make a game, but like I could use it to do like the basics. So you have a 3D model, you add physics to it where when like you push this 3D model, it hits this wall and knows that there's a wall there. So like basically simple experiences like that. So this is Rhino. This Rhino is basically for product design. So for creating um I would say CAD models. So CAD models are computer aided basically computer aided diagram. So this is a different version of it's a different type of 3D. What you'll be doing in like Blender or Cinema 4D is it's called polygonal. That's polygonal modeling. So in those type of models, you see where people talk about faces, edges, and all of that, vertices, all of those things. So um, that's why you can have like a model that is like very a 3D model that is low res, and you would notice that like it's low res. But like for Rhino, it's very very high fidelity. So it doesn't use like those polygons. Like when you draw like a line, when you draw like a curve, it is actually that curve, it's actually that line, and it's like very high fidelity. So that's why it's basically used for product design. So this is Lens Studio. So Lens Studio is basically like a meta spark, but it's used for creating experiences on Snapchat. Then all of these are just like um should I say for design generally, Photoshop, Illustrator, Premiere Pro for editing videos, Lightroom for editing photos, XD for like UI, UX, then IDs. This is InDesign. So InDesign is basically for publications, still like design, just like Photoshop. Yeah, there's that. So I'll try to breeze through this because I think time is like moving really fast. So this is like the play space. This was like a project I did for um First by Benson. So it's basically like a 3D space. It was done in Blender. Yeah, so a portion of this was done in CAD. So it was done in Rhino. So you'd notice like how you can see like the lines, you can see the sketches and all of that here. So it's Rhino. This is basically done. You can see details in Rhino, all of that. Then there were a few iterations basically. So there were actually different versions of the space that we meant to like put together. So we ended up going with this and this. This was like one of the initial design. I think there's one other one. I do think is here. Okay, so that's the space phase. The second project is 3DC line. So this is basically a toy figure I designed for a fashion brand. So this was done in 3D and was 3D printed. I can't. Let me see if I have like a video. A video. Do I? I'll try to see if I have a video of the 3D print. Yeah, but basically, this is the particular toy. This was the earliest version of the um 3D print. It was still like rough, and you had to sandpaper it, but it still wasn't like as much as we sandpapered. It wasn't like as great as we thought it would be. So what we had to do was like we had to split it into many models, like split it into like different parts, and now actually 3D print each of these parts, then join them later on. Uh, I believe after a while we tried this and it just took a while. We just had to outsource it. So it was actually finally 3D printed in China. I think this is the final 3D print of it. The next one is like a virtual gallery. Um, this was a very very simple gallery because I noticed like for me personally when I look at like virtual galleries in should I say like various platforms, they were just very big, and I wanted like a very very um small gallery where like when you enter the space you're actually just seeing um like the artwork, like nothing is taken away from the experience as much. We're like basically just seeing like the artwork. So was inspired by like a real world gallery. It's called Fondeluz. I think I mentioned that here. It's called Fondeluz. So it has like this um like glass ceiling. So I remade like the glass ceiling as like an alternative vantage point, basically like an alternative way to like view the artwork. So you could just climb on the roof and you could view the artwork like on the roof if like there are like so many people inside the space. Then yeah, this is a virtual Infinity Exponential is like a virtual triumph for a, should I say, a jewelry brand based in UK. So it was a very, very, very basic um AI experience. So what was used there was just images. There weren't there weren't 3D um like the necklaces were not 3D. They were just image. They were image cutouts, like product images that we had to use. And we did that because like that was like the budget we got from like clients. Like we could only afford to use like images. We were not able to like make the 3D model. So we just like cutouts. It doesn't look as bad. I think I'll be able to find a video somewhere. Let me see. Uh, nah, I can't find the video now, but probably open my camera to check. So yeah, so this is basically like the UI for it. So you're basically clicking. I think these things work better when there's an actual video. Just give me a minute. Canva, um, projects. Yeah. Let me know if you can still see my screen.
Yes, but it's I think it is loading. Yeah, it's still loading. Well, I can see the Canva homepage.
Oh, yeah, it's loading. Okay.
Yeah, but it's just a white canvas. I see though. Are you playing something?
Well, just hold on. Just hold on.
Okay.
Not yet. Not yet, actually. I feel like this will take a while to load up. It's gonna take a while.
Yeah, if it's taking too long, we can push it to the end. Maybe before the end, you can show us. But I was personally
Oh,
enjoyed going
while
to the
while I
solo.
try to like load that up, let me just
Yeah, perfect.
let me just breeze through. Or I can okay, let me just breeze through it physically. So if that one is able to load up fully, then we'll check it out. So basically, this is like the UI for the experience. This was like so it's basically like simple should I say like the annihilation templates when I was working like speaking to the client, like what they wanted to look like. Then yeah, I think this should be where the video plays. But this is a PDF, so it won't play. Then the other experience is far more immersive. So this is like yeah, this is probably where we need like a video. This is okay. I feel like that would take a while to load. So Parliament immersive is basically like I recreated. So this is like a popular bridge in Lagos. So it's just under the bridge. So I had to recreate like the pillars, the artwork on the pillars here, and we created it here in 3D. This is Blender. It wasn't complex. It was basically like so basically just cylinders, and I took images of the pillars and I projected it onto the cylinders. Then from there, I was able to like just manipulate like the pillars in 3D, then overlay it on the image. So like whenever you go to that bridge and you use the experience, you're able to like see the pillar come to life basically. Then this is floats, not necessarily relating to 3D, although this is like 3D images. But like this was like identity design I did for floats. I'll just scroll through this. I think this is the last of the experience. But yeah, so like this was like an industrial design. So I did this like in school, but I had to like recreate it later. So it's basically like um like a slicer that was designed. I didn't end up making a model, like an actual model of it, but like this was like done in 3D, and it was done in a way that optimizes like for 3D printing. So this can easily be 3D printed, and it could basically like then I think it's just the blade that'll have to like be casted, or if there's like another method of actually making the blades. But I believe even if like the blades are 3D printed too, it will still like cut, they still cut like the plantain and the banana. So it's like a very, very simple product. So this is supposed to be a video, like um a visualization of like the product working, but this one play here. Man. Again, I don't know how bad this network is, but it appears videos are not playing.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not playing. It's static.
I'll just end it
That's
now.
right.
Okay.
Perfect. So
Um
I think we're good to go now. So we've seen
I think we can get back into it then.
yeah, absolutely. We've seen Miracle's work. We have a sense of like the basic concepts around 3D, the use cases and everything. And I think for the rest of the session, what we're going to do now is follow Miracle through as he creates a virtual 3D space from scratch. So take it away.
Okay, I'm actually not creating it from scratch. It's like already created. So
Oh, okay. Walking us through
I'm
the
actually just
yeah, that's fine.
yeah, it's created, but like it's like modeled and all of that, but like just getting it. So it's a 3D space and getting it to be a virtual space that people can actually get into or experience. So that's what we're basically doing. So I'll share my screen again, then I'll show you. Okay. Okay, yeah. I can I think I found some of the videos that I wanted to show you from my portfolio. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yeah, I can see it's working properly now.
So this was basically the try-on experience I was talking about. So you could basically just like open the slider, pick like the earrings and all of that. Yeah, so you notice how like it's beginning to like cut out because they were flat images and they were not 3D. Yeah, I think that's that one. Um, uh, the other one is supposed to be what's it called? The other one is supposed to be the gallery. Yeah. Yeah. This is the other one. This was that gallery. It's not necessarily showing the artworks at the moment, but I think we'll be doing something like similar to this. But this was built in Mona. So what we're doing will be like in, should I say, Sketchfab. Yeah, so this is basically the 26 live gallery I worked on. I think that's pretty much it. Then let me see. So now back to what we're actually going to be tackling. It's just basically like after hours for now. So this was um something I did last year in Blender. It was I called it the trailer gallery. It was very, very simple. It was basically me blocking out shapes, very simple shapes, squares, cubes basically, to make like most of it. Cubes and spheres, cylinders, like put it together. So this is how I think this is how far you could get. Like you could go as far as this, like make something as realistic as this. And renders that go as realistic as these are things that work for like images like you have here. If there's going to be a video, if it's going to be used for a film, to look as realistic as this. But when you now have to like make a an experience, then it has to be it won't be as like crazy realistic as this, but it works basically. So you're going to like I'm going to like share like maybe even go as far as sharing the images, like the actual 3D models, so people could try it. This was this is what we're going to be tackling. So I think there's a video of it, the rendering of it. So like you notice that there's like grass here, but grass is something that's very, very CPU intensive. So we're probably not able to like replicate grass in like the virtual worlds. You can, but it's going to like take a while to run or take a while to load. So like this works fine like when you're just making a video, but when you're having to like work on like a virtual space which is supposed to be like very optimized, you might end up not like using the grass at all. So like this video. So what we're going to be doing is we use spatial and we'll use sketchfab. So like I mentioned earlier, for like 3D creation, there's having to like get a 3D modeler to make it for you. Then there's the other method, or another method which is similar to like getting someone to 3D model it for you, like having to like buy the model or get it. I think there are some models that are free here. So like SketchUp is like a very good.
Are we having the glitches again? Can you hear me, Jizzy?
I can hear you. So I believe it's coming from Miracle's end.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Let's just give it a second and see. In the meantime, how are we doing on the other side? Today it seems to be running by very quickly. I don't know how we've already done 1 hour so far, and we are just getting started with the thing that we came here to do. But yeah, hopefully the next 1 hour runs by quickly as well, so that we can all get through our weekends. But how's everyone doing? Can we get some feedback? Can we get some comment? Are we following through so far? And what are we taking away from the session?
Yeah,
Just as a side note, we're gonna get all of these materials and all of these things that Miracle has shared in the last 1 hour and get them to everybody. So don't worry about missing them.
all right, guys. Materials will be made available soon after the space. If you have any feedback, if you have any questions, you can go ahead and probably leave them on the comment section while we wait for Miracle's network to get restored. Okotie says 3D and XR is deep, man. Of course, it is deep, bro.
I want to actually say something about that, right? Because Miracle is talking about all of these things from a creator perspective, right? So somebody who actually makes it, somebody who creates it, right? But the other side of XR that is also deep is the product and business side of it. So understanding how these final products actually, help us in our daily lives, right? So I don't want anybody to be overwhelmed by the technicality of it, because at the end of the day, like, not every single person is going to be able to become a master at creating 3D, right? But I can tell you for a fact that everyone can learn how to use the final products to enrich their lives, to enrich their businesses, to help with their creativity, to sell their products or whatever it is you're doing. So a quick example is like the examples we saw with Nike, the examples we saw with the virtual try-ons, right? So if you're somebody who's building a startup, or someone who has an idea in fashion or anything, you can start thinking about how you can use some of these concepts to elevate, what you're doing already, right? And like he said, you don't always have to be the one that creates it, right? So find people who are good at 3D, find modelers, and develop relationships with them, and see how they can help you transform your vision to life. And then you, as a non-technical person, if that's your field, you can now start to learn the other sides of things, like understanding how customers interact with things, understanding how supply chains work, understanding how commerce works, and things like that. And I think that that's really the real beauty in terms of just how deep 3D and XR can get. But I think Miracle is back, so let's get right into it. But I'm enjoying the session. If you're enjoying it too as well, just leave a comment and let's see where we're at.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if I'm not sure if I'm not sure where I was when
You were on Sketchfab.
um yeah, so I was talking about like a model I did for Guinness. So this is the bottom model as
You're not
as an
sharing your screen
animation.
yet, Miracle.
Okay, so I'm
Oh,
supposed to share my
not
screen.
available. Yeah.
Okay, so this was the photo I was talking about on Sketchfab, has a scroll and cover. So I'll basically be uploading the 3D model for After Hours on Sketchfab. Then I think that when that is done, I can share the link for people to download it and use it for Spatial. So we'll be using Spatial to create the space. So basically Spatial.io. I think if you sign up or set it up, it's very, very straightforward. You can either sign up with MetaMask, or if you use Google to sign up, then you're going to want to go to create a space. So this is the space I was created. Very, very simple. There's a plane. It's supposed to like represent like the light source. This is like the small gallery. There's pretty much not a lot here. Very, very simple space. We try to make it as simple as possible, so I'm able to like quickly sort out the uploading here. So when you have the model, I think I'll wait for it to like load up quickly. But while it's loading up, let me try architecture. uh, Windows. Yeah, so this is Blender, and this particular view, you see like there are no materials, there are no colors. This is like the very, very it's called, should I say, a very, very simple shading. It's basically a solid viewport, so it doesn't have the materials and any of that. So this is where you switch to like the material view, and so for using aspiration, they have a documentation where you could see like how it was.
Hi, Miracle. I think your mic is. I cannot hear you. You're not audible, right?
I don't know. I think it might be internet and not mic because it's just lagging actually. It might be because you're uploading that thing. Yeah, your mic is fine. It's just like yeah, there's like cracks in your audio. Can you try again? We can't hear you. Okay. So Marcus hopped off. I think he's again trying to set up sort out his internet problems. Yeah, I just want to apologize on his behalf. This is actually our first session where we're having glitches. And I was just saying to myself the other day that this is too good to be true. The fact that we had gone through like 8 sessions, gone through like 6 sessions already, and it was, hitch free. So I guess I went and jinxed it. But anyway, while we wait, maybe we can just do a quick check in and see where everybody's head is at. DSC, are you with me?
Yeah, I'm with you, bro. I'm with you, bro. You went and jinxed it, but it's all good. Amazing things always have. They say a masterpiece is not a masterpiece until it has like something that's not
No,
necessarily. That's how the saying goes, but you get what I mean, man.
yeah,
It's not a
it has
masterpiece
to be rough.
without the glitches. Yeah.
That's cool. Well, I mean, from the feedback that we're getting so far, I think people are enjoying the session, and yeah, I think that this is really just a how do I say? Because I don't even know if it's possible to compress all of these things in one session. So
Yeah.
the way I see the session is like an opener, right, to spark interest, right? Because I know there's somebody here in this session that is thinking maybe should I explore XR, should I explore 3D? So I think this is a good way to get you in the door because now you're familiar with the basic concepts, you're familiar with the tools. Everything that we have done tonight is accessible to you right now if you have a computer and an internet connection, right? And I know somebody asked, the stuff is usually CPU intensive. That's true to a certain extent, but I also think that a lot of these experiences now are being rendered on the web. So even though they're still intensive in terms of just how much like processing power it requires, it does not necessarily serve as a deterrent these days. So I'll wait for Miracle to give you recommendations on the exact types of PCs. But trust me, like a basic PC with like 8 gig of RAM and like an internal graphic processor is a pretty decent place to start. So I don't want to give the wrong information. So maybe Mark can give you like models and things to look out for, like computer models, brands, and stuff like that. with different budget ranges. But I definitely know that a lot of the 3D work that's possible now with the web-based experiences were not possible like 3 to 5 years ago. Like you would definitely need a lot more investment, a lot more like processing power, which is why we are seeing like the expansion of 3D right now. Because even this special app that he's using to build this, like, is actually available on your phone. So you can go on the App Store, you can go on the Google Play Store right now and download it, and you can actually create these experiences on your phone. So I think that that's really crazy. That was unheard of a few years ago. So anybody who's thinking of exploring, 3D XR from any angle, I think that we are at the best time, at least in my experience, right? Since I've been looking into these things, and it has never been this easy. So this is a good time to check things out. And even if you don't have the best gear, you don't have the best equipment, I guarantee you that whatever you have is enough to get you to start. Right. So that's definitely what I think about that. The great thing about After Hours is we get to see the glitches in the yeah, thanks for that, Nia. It's run by humans and not robots. And that's true. That's actually really true. And we're not even really trying to be perfect, like, because in real life experiences you will come across this kind of challenges, whether it's like internet or processing power or just something that was unplanned. So the goal here is to just show you how real things are, and I think we're doing a pretty decent job at that. Perfect. Okay, DSC, let me go see what's going on with Michael. Be right back.
All right, all right, all right. Um, I think he's back. I think he's out again. Yeah, guys. While we wait for Miracle to get back, I hope everybody's doing good. I hope everybody is settled still. Sorry about the glitches once again, but it's a human experience, like Nia said, and I'm sure that he's definitely working so hard to get back here as soon as he can. All right, but I'm enjoying the sessions. It's been great so far, and it definitely piques my interest. I've seen a lot of fascinating stuff that feels very amazing, and I'm sure that other people's interests are also being piqued as well. As you can see, I think these are a couple of artworks that Miracle has been able to work on. Totally fascinating, and I'm pretty sure that as much as we can see the finished product, there's definitely a lot of work that goes in the background. I'm sure that it is very technical, and I know that everybody on here agrees that the technicality of 3D designs are very extensive. But there's nothing that you cannot do if you set your mind to it. If Miracle can do it, then I'm pretty sure that you could do it as well. There's no there's no preferences to who was born to be a 3D artist and who wasn't. Right? We all can, and we all can accomplish whatever we put our minds to. So yeah, guys, for the fact that we're here, for the fact that you're on this platform at this very hour, it means that you have a step in the right direction already. Your mentality is focused. You're putting yourself in places where you have access to knowledge and information, and that's very powerful. There's a saying that knowledge is power, and trust, guys, knowledge is power. You never can tell. Something that you might learn on here will be very essential to you in the future, even if it's not something that you say you want to venture in, but it could come in handy someday. It could be something that helps somebody else. It could be something that provides knowledge to somebody else. It could be a reference, right? So it's great to have everybody on here and learning through all of this. I think Miracle is back now. We could take it away.
Miracle,
Yeah,
can we
can
do
you
a
hear me?
sound check?
Okay.
Yeah, and video check. Welcome back.
All right.
Okay. my laptop went off. I don't know why. I think it's because I was running so many software that I was not closing. So instead of writing, I went off. I'm
Okay,
still
no
trying to
problem.
re-upload the model. So yeah, because it went off, the model I uploaded stopped. So
Okay, while
I
we're
think
waiting
just
for
give
that,
it like
can
15
you?
minutes.
There's somebody asked a question while you're away.
Then
They said the stuff for
okay.
PC is usually CPU intensive. So, can you make any recommendations on like machines or PC that's best and also budget friendly? So, while we wait for the upload, you can just answer that.
Okay, I think any PC that has a graphic card works. So maybe Nvidia or AMD. I think Nvidia is like preferable because Nvidia has like a lot of features that are more compatible with like more softwares. So they have like this driver that they keep making, even for gaming. They have like the driver that they keep making and they keep uploading, they keep updating for gaming. So any PC that has a graphic card, then for the CPU, it should be like I'm someone that uses Intel, so like from i5 upwards or even i3. So i3 is not great. So if you have like i3, you'll probably only be able to um I think I shared like when I open Blender with i3 you only be able to like easily work with the viewport, like make the models, do the sketches. But when you have to render, then you can't use it's going to be very slow. So that's when you need like a graphic card, a GPU. That's good enough. So any GPU that's IP and out, any GPU that's NVIDIA is fine. Then the CPU that is from Core i5 and above, if you're using Intel. And I think for MacBooks, it's a lot different. I don't really know how it works in that ecosystem, but I know what they make is like very good. What else? Yeah, so basically GPU that's NVIDIA best, then a CPU that's from Core i5 and above. Yeah, the model I'm uploading is almost done. So I don't know if anyone shared the link. So it's spatial.io. You quickly create an account of spatial. Um, or just like the way you would use Google, just set it up in Google or set it up with your wallet, MetaMask, and you should be able to run. So there's like, let me share my screen. Yes, I said special. Then for the Sketchfab, I'm going to share a link of um, the Sketchfab model. It's still processing, so I don't know how long this will take, but I know it doesn't take long. So when it processes, I'll just um, allow people to download it so you can get the model. So what you're going to be getting is this file. It's a GLB file. So okay, I think it's working now. So it's a GLB file. So what you're going to be doing is if you get this thing, you can download it on your PC anytime you're ready. You just always download it on your PC. It's still loading. So I think when it loads up, you'll be able to see it. What's it? Where is it? Where can I drop this link?
Just send it to me. I'll send it to the after hours channel, and I'll drop it here as well. Send it on Telegram, Marco. Or you can do the private chat
Okay,
here. Um, in Hopin,
okay.
the chat box of the Hop.
I just sent it. So yeah, it's it's loaded here, pretty easy on Sketchfab. So if you have that file on your PC, if you're able to download it pretty easy, you can now head to Spatial, and in Spatial create new space. That's after you've like logged in and all of that. So when you're creating new space, you're going to be picking, uploading a custom space. So Spatial has like templates for like different should I say different I think one is like an office. So they just have like different templates. There's like a boardroom, there's a lounge, there's like galleries and all of that. But like you can create like a custom, you can create a custom space and just upload it. So that's what we're doing, uploading a custom space. I think I'll wait out for this to load up. Uh, yeah. No, I don't know if okay, still on. So while you're here, you're going to like pick, select from your device or select from content menu. If you're selecting from content menu, maybe you have the space as an NFT or you've had the space somewhere before. So from here, like if I had the space as an NFT, it will load up here. So there was a space, there's a 3D space I used before. So like it's still loading, but
Okay, cool. While we wait for it to load,
I
we
want,
have some
you want to say
questions.
something?
Yeah, yeah. I said while we wait for it to load, we have some
Okay.
questions that have come up. The first question is, what is a? I think that's from Otugo. Sorry, let me just find it. Uh,
Okay, I can see the question. If the
yeah, okay,
question for the
yeah.
beginner 3D enthusiast, if someone started building characters and models in 2D concepts, what's the quickest hack to turn them into a 3D model for demo purpose? Hmm. Uh, quickest way is not like you said, quickest way is not like the most um should I say the most detailed way, or I would not say is the most um optimized way, but like quickest way to turn into a 3D model is to like use what's that thing called? Use like 3D scanning. So like there are apps for I know there are apps on the iStore for scanning it. So I know there's a certain iPhone, I think it's from 12. So from 12 Pro, they have a particular scanner that's good for scanning like 3D things. So you could, if you have like the iPhone, basically any camera will work. So you could use that and okay, I think I'm messing up the question. You said from 2D, not like a physical model. I was trying to explain from a physical model. From 2D, I think the quickest way is to actually learn 3D or get someone to do it, like send them the concept. So that's basically what I've done at most parts. So like people send me like images. I might not end up being the one that does like the modeling, but I'll just find someone that knows how to do the modeling if I don't have time. So the person does it, then I'll have to like finish up. Like if the person does like the modeling, you might not be able to like do the texturing, or they don't have to do the texturing or add material. To just do like the modeling, like basic form. Then I would finish up. But like I don't believe there's like well somebody earlier mentioned you could there's an AI for generating 3D models. I don't know. I found one. There was one that was very popular but was controversial because what they were actually doing wasn't AI. They were actually getting models. Sorry, they were actually getting artists in India that were able to like create models in like 15 minutes, 45 minutes, actually like quickly model those things. So it wasn't being done by AI or anything. It was actually people that were working their ass off basically that was modeling it. So quickest way is to actually get model somebody to model it. And if you want to do it yourself, learn Blender. Blender is free Like it's just a software you just download. Just go to blender.org, you download it. And there's a popular Blender tutorial that everybody, I think almost everybody that uses Blender point people towards. It's called the donut tutorial. So if you just go to YouTube and type the Blender donut tutorial to pop up. So there's this certain guy that keeps doing it. His name is Andrew Price. So I think he does it for like different versions of Blender because his Blender has changed over the years. So you probably see like um a tutorial that works for you. Yeah, donut tutorial. Just search for it, find it. So it actually carries you like through like the major processes. It's just that you're just going to be making a donut, but you are basically making like a fairly realistic and interesting, like very interesting donut because like it's realistic and it works fine. You can actually use it for like a lot of things. So yeah, um, I hope I answered the question. Now, so back to what I was
I
saying.
have an additional
So this,
answer for that question. Sorry, Miracle.
yeah,
And
go
this
ahead.
is this is with VR, so virtual reality. So if a person is able to make 2D sketches, or you've been making 2D sketches, I assume that like you know how to draw, actually know how to like use your like cognitive skills to draw. Not many people can do that. So there are actually tools in VR that allow you draw in 3D space. So, but this will require you actually having a virtual reality device, so like an Oculus or something. So there's an app called Gravity Sketch. There's another one called Tilt Brush. So essentially, like the same way you would draw in real life, you basically just redraw your 2D image, but it will show up as a 3D, and then you can export that to Sketchfab or any of these 3D software. That's a little more advanced, but it's a hack if you get what I mean. And I think with AI, like with GPT-4 and some of these like more powerful models, we might actually start to see it might not be perfect, right? There might still be some like requirements for you to be able to make things nice and texture them. But I think to be able to get a a model that you can start with, like we might be able to see something pretty soon. And the scanner that Miracle was talking about earlier is called LiDAR, if anybody wants to check it out. So it's present on the iPhones and on the iPads. But there are also some cameras that have LiDAR scanners in them. LiDAR stands for light
Yeah.
depth perception or something like that. Go find it and share it. Okay, cool. One last question, Miracle, before we
Okay.
continue.
Someone said mushroom. So yeah, for scanning too, there's actually a software that stitches what you scan. So I think Precious Opera said mushroom, yeah. But I know if you have I can't remember the name of the 3D scanner, but I know like the actual apps that you would use to scan it to stitch it, then you can send it to Blender. But then yeah, there are different ways to go about it anyways.
Someone said, how do
How to
you get
begin
started as a beginner?
get started. I just said it's like just have Blender. But I feel like I said Blender because that's the easiest. Some people never used Blender because it just never worked for them. So me personally, I've done 3D for a while. So maybe not 3D as like something for producing, like maybe not the 3D I'm currently doing now, but like I've done like a certain type of 3D that's CAD in school. So when I was learning like CAD, like there were so many softwares I used, but like those softwares were optimized for um what's it called? They were optimized for, should I say, product design. So like I tried Maya, I didn't like Maya. What else did I try? I tried like this 3D software, it was called Poser. I didn't like it too. So it was Blender I actually like used and actually worked fine. Like it just went beautiful and smoothly for me. So I used Blender. So yeah, you try to use Blender with the other softwares. But then there are like certain softwares that are like specialized for certain things. It's like you can use Blender for definitely anything, a human model, physical model. But like human models are so complex that going through all the process of like doing that might not be like so easy. So there's this software called DAZ. Yeah, so DAZ Studio. So DAZ Studio is basically like a template. You can actually like take a photo of yourself and get it into DAZ. I don't want to like run it now. Maybe I could try to run it since Blender is not open. But yeah. You can open DAS Studio, like just it should be free. Yeah, DAS Studio is free. Use NVIDIA, so that's why I recommend NVIDIA. So you could like just have like a photo of yourself and like just plug it into like DAS, and you're able to like have is um realistic model with that. Uh, yeah, so I'm not sure why. Okay, I think this is yeah. This was a model I did of somebody. I don't know if I can find a
You're
picture of the
not sharing your
person.
screen, Marco.
Ah, okay. Sorry. I don't know why I keep forgetting. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, I can.
Yeah,
Marco.
so was DAS. When I said that, I actually typed it here and I was pointing at it like I was sharing my screen. My apologies. Apologies. So yeah, I already actually opened DAS, and this was actually generated with like a picture of my friend. His name is Morgi. So it's just like with its face transfer, you could just like basically just add the image of the face and it actually gets like something like as realistic as this. And this is like basically what do I call it? Is the way that works is like it's actually ready to go anywhere. It's ready to go for gaming, ready to go for filmmaking, ready to go for anything. So you're not having to like actually model like the whole thing. You just have like templates. You have a picture and you just put it together and you have like a quick model you can run with. This is it being rendered. Mm, it'll take a while to look, but like this is it. Me trying to like take it to like realistic. Yeah, this is like me getting to like look realistic and all of that. But that's pretty much it. Just does. Then there's like a very very crazy one. It's called MetaHuman. So it's for Unreal. So Unreal is like probably the best game. I don't think it's the best. I think Unity is the best game engine. But like when you want to like go for realism, like something that's very realistic, then Unreal is probably the best game engine out there. So this is their own um I won't call it avatar creator. I would say like well let's just say human generator. So you create like realistic models. This is like a level way levels higher than DAS, but I think DAS is easier. Like it's just quicker to use. Like you just have DAS, you can export to like random places. So I believe that like softwares are specialized for like um they're specialized for many things. I don't know how long this will take for different things basically. Now there's this other one for animation, so mix some more. Yeah. So Xamo is owned by what's it called? I think it's owned by Adobe. Should be owned by Adobe. So you could use like Mixamo for like character animation. So you have like a certain character. I believe I have a character here that's already loaded. So you have like a certain character, you just upload it to Mixamo and you can add animations to it, like running animations, waving animations, walking animations. Um, I don't think this MetaHuman is going to do so. Okay, it did. Interesting. Yeah, so yeah, this MetaHuman basically. I think I'm going to close it now. You can just check it out on your own. Yeah. Then this is my time is very slow. So this is Mixamo. So a model should show up here. I think the last model I used, I'm not sure. I believe the last model I used is not here. That's sad. But yeah, you could just add any animation to it and to load up.
So you can add any animation to. So basically, you have your own model. You add it to this
It's a
model,
library.
but
Yeah, you have your own model.
yeah. So like what you created
Yep,
with that,
that's
now
what it
you
is.
can
So
bring it to this and create like full animation of that
you can bring it
model.
here. Yeah.
Wow. And all of these are
Yep,
web
then
based.
download it again. Then it has like the animation.
That's
It means I'm
crazy.
as well please.
I'm getting
Yeah, so
ideas.
like these are like
Cool.
specialized for human type stuff. So yeah, back to where I was. Let's quickly just run through this because my my headphones, I think battery's about to die. So you could select from your device if you're able to like download this gallery. Yeah, so you just select from your device. Go to try to find. Hmm, let me just go to try to find the model I created. Yeah, this is it. So I'll open it. It's going to like upload. I don't know how long it take. Depends on like internet speed and all of that. But it should be uploading and come back to check it. But yeah, even from here, like even from Sketchfab, you can actually like go through the model and see it, how it looks.
I think somebody Nia just raised a very important question. He says, is there a file format that is compatible across all of these different software? So, is it one file format? Is it multiple file formats? And what's the typical file size for a character, human style character? At least approximately.
Yeah, so that's actually one of the biggest problems like DD is like interoperability, like being able to like move files around. That's a problem in like the Web3 NFT problem, but it's like actually a problem in like the 3D space. So there are popular files. There's FBX, there's .glb, there's a lot of them. But like when you're having to move them like through softwares, you might not like you might not be as great basically. So yeah, this is I'll just say this to FBX and JLB. So like with FBX, if you have DAS, you could like create your stuff in DAS, export FBX, bring it to Mixamo, then add your animation in Mixamo because Mixamo supports FBX but it doesn't support JLB. To bring it to FBX. Then when you export it, you can now use that FBX and bring it back to DAS or take it somewhere. Then maybe you can now add your textures back because most of the time things get missing when you're moving between softwares. Things get missing when you're moving between softwares. So for GLB is like I think very should I say is a general file. So like with GLB, this file like I'm sending now is actually GLB. I don't know if this thing is going to upload. This is crazy because it's never moving. So this file like I'm sending right now is a GLB file. So it's pretty like simple. Like if you're not having like a human model that you're trying to animate and all of that, you could just have like a GLB for like objects, products, all of that, and it work fine. And the way GLB is like textures don't get missing. Like when they have that GLB file, everything is inside. The materials is inside, textures are inside. Like everything is just basically inside. So it just works fine. But with FBX, it might not have the materials and textures in it. Or man, this isn't even moving. Let me try reloading this.
Do you know what you can do, Miracle? If
Yeah,
this is not working, you can record a
yeah.
video at a later time, right? Of just the
Okay,
process, and then we'll get it across to everybody. But I don't think that's going to be a setback for us tonight. But we
okay.
can
Oh, let
just
me just try one more time.
okay, cool.
Add content.
But Niat, I hope your question was answered. The
upload.
typical file size, I think in my experience, it varies. To be honest, Marco, what do you think? Because I've seen 3D files that go as crazy as like
Yeah, varies very
hundreds of
very.
megabytes, and sometimes,
This one is 10 MB. It's actually
uh,
not optimized. It should have been less, but I just created it quickly for this space.
yeah. So
So
optimization is the process of reducing the file size and making it accessible for different platforms. I think one way in my experience that I've seen people optimize the best is just like exporting as videos. So exporting as simple videos just for previewing and sharing, as opposed to sharing the original GLB or 3D files.
yeah, that's also a good. That's also a good way to do it. Like, oh, maybe not videos, stills, because videos are like they also take time. They take time on your side to render. Like they take time on your side to like set it up and render. But I think it works. Then for avatars, yeah, there should be like one that should be there. It's .vrm. So that's I believe that's the one that's like very very interoperable. So if you create your stuff and it's finished, like you can use it anywhere, almost anywhere. When you see like people that do like VTubers, people that use like avatars, live stream with avatars is always a VRM file. Like the web supports the VRM, just like how you could like go somewhere and you could open like a PNG on the web, like the web supports VRM and a lot of should I say spaces or virtual spaces or virtual world support VRM. This thing is not working at all. Don't know why. But maybe I can try with another that particular space. I wish it just work. Or I'll try with another browser. Let me see. Then I'll have to log in there. I think well we could wrap it up here. Maybe some other time. Or when I try to record it later.
Okay, yeah, I think yeah, just record
Alright.
like a 10-minute video, however long you can, and just walk us through the rest of the process. But I think that it's actually been quite valuable. Everything you
Yeah.
did so far. All right. Do we have any more questions, guys? So questions for Miracle, questions about the career path of a 3D artist or 3D generalist, or any other questions. I think we can take the next 5 minutes to tackle those, and then we can wrap up the session. I have a question for you, Miracle, right? Because my background was in filmmaking, right? So I started off as a filmmaker, and I remember like I used to run away from doing 3D, right? So when clients would come to us and ask us to make 3D videos for them, or when a music artist would say, "Can I have some 3D in my video?" I always used to like shy away from it because I had this like predisposition that 3D is difficult, 3D is hard. Is that the case, or is it something that anybody can learn? Or is it that 3D was hard 7 years ago, but 3D is a lot easier now? What do you think about like
Well,
that?
I don't think it's sorry, I don't think it is difficult. But I think there's some skill sets that just makes it easier for you. So if you're able to like if you're able to like think in like a spatial like if you have good spatial awareness, so like you know how things look in like you know how things look in like a certain space and all of that. It's just going to be easier for you to like put it together. But I don't think there's a skill that anybody cannot learn. Like I think if you put in like as much hours, like practice often. For some things come easier for them, like to them, like to just know how to do things quickly. Certain things they can just do like create content quickly, do certain things quickly. But maybe for someone else, you might just have to like put in more time, like put in more hours. But then I believe like anybody can actually learn anything, especially if it's something that you're going to be doing with like a PC. You know, like is and it's something we're born with, like spatial awareness. Like when you throw, when you try to like throw a stone in a bin, or you're trying to throw something somewhere, and you're trying to like hit a particular target, whether you hit it or not, you will definitely be somehow close to it most of the time. And obviously, you do. It's not like you calculate it in your head, or you try to like move things around, or you know like how long it is or what angle you're meant to throw it. Like you just do it basically. It's just something that is there. Like we know how far this thing is compared to us. We know how close and how small an object is and how it should travel. All of that. It's just something that comes naturally for us basically. So like spatial awareness just into like just know where things are supposed to be, like you do the space, then just understand the techniques. So, like I said, there are different ways. There's CAD, there's modeling. I feel like people that are like very good with like geometric shapes, that are like very interested in like modular things, maybe CAD comes will come easy for you. So maybe you're able to create things. If you can think in boxes. When I say think in boxes, like I believe anything that we've seen, like anything that any product basically is made out of a very primitive shapes. Primitives. The primitives are boxes, spheres, um, cylinders, planes. So like those like very simple objects. Almost everything is basically carved out or made or is a combination of all of these things. If you can think in primitives, you can think in primitives, it's going to be like very easy. Like just know how simple is this thing? Like what is this in its simplest form? Basically, what are the basics? Like what's essential? So yeah, just think like primitives and you're able to like sort it out. That's the problem solving. It's sort of like problem solving in 3D. For example, you know a donut. A donut is basically a torus. I think that shape is called a torus. So as simple as it is, there's actually like a torus model, like a torus primitive on almost any software. So from the torus primitive, you can just get started from there. A water bottle most of the time will be a cylinder. You just have to like tweak the cylinder, get started from there. Laptop is like keyboards, cubes that have been like just a lot of cubes basically, and yeah, keyboards are cubes too. So just thinking like that way, you can start from there. Then practice. I think that's the most important thing. Just practice. Just try stuff. Keep practicing. Keep practicing. I have this thing on my what's it called? There's like when I wake up every morning and I come to my computer, there's this thing I come to look at. You can see my screen, it's just here. Like nobody tells this to people who are beginners. I wish someone told me. All of us who do creative work get into it because we have good taste. But there's this cap basically. So for the first couple of years you make stuff, it's not just that good. It's trying to be good, it has potential, but it's not. But your taste is the thing that got you into the game and it's still killer. This is why your work disappoints you. A lot of people will never get past this phase, they quit. Most people I know doing interesting creative work went through this through years of this. Our work doesn't have this special thing that wants to have. We all go through this. And if you are just starting out or you are still in this phase, you have to know what's normal. And the most important thing you can do to the most important thing you can do is a lot of work. Put yourself on a deadline so that every week you finish one story. It's only by going through the volume of work that you close that gap and your work will be as good as your ambition. So basically what this guy is saying is this is like more on like should I say um creative work, but I believe it still applies to like when you're trying to learn something generally, not trying to like make things better. You have like the artistic vision. You're basically just trying to create something simple. So I believe this applies. Like just keep trying. Like you know what you're trying to like know where you're trying to get to. So it's by doing like a lot of work and being disappointed that you're actually going to get there. So yeah, um, I think that
That's
should be it.
awesome. I just took a
Okay,
screen grab of
it
that
loaded.
quote, and we're gonna
So the
share.
space loaded.
Oh, okay. Let's proceed.
Yeah, so it loaded here. So what you have to do is like click the model, then there should be an option to set, yeah, set custom environment. So ideally, when I first of all uploaded it, when you like start from the beginning, it's actually to set that first. But I already entered the space and I added it like an extra model. So now I just have to click the model and set custom environment. So environment, and I'm inside. So I can actually increase the scale. Maybe it's too small. I can increase it by 5, then adjust it. So yeah, just try to line it up with this grid. Uh, yep. Okay, I think it's too big. So let me try to. It should be fine and done. So I'm in space. Well, I don't think I've sorted it out perfectly, but yeah, it's too big. I'm going to try to. I'm going to try to edit environment again. Edit environment position. Um, Let me try 1.5. Might be a good scale. I think this is a good scale. Still too big. I think the space in itself is like small. But yeah, you can just keep trying and you set it up later. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Could you guys see my screen?
Yeah, I could see it. Actually looked pretty good to be honest. So essentially Spatial allows you to just snap in like 3D models and you can like optimize them for the space.
Yeah, any
That's like
model.
brilliant. So,
Yeah.
can you talk to us about this avatar? Like, how can one get an avatar like this? Like, how did you get it to move around in this space?
Oh, it just works now. Like with spatial, it just basically works. Like if you what's it called? If you set up your avatar, I think there's a way to do it somewhere. I'm not sure, but like there's a way to like there should be
Yeah, I
something
think it's
here.
bottom. Ready Player Me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
edit avatar, ready pyramid. So create an avatar generated. So if you create like an avatar, you could use like a photo of yourself or what's it called, or any image of yourself. You can actually take a photo and just use it to generate like an avatar. Don't specify. You can continue the photo or pick a photo or continue without a photo and just pick any model next. Then to load it up, then you get the avatar inside. So yeah, so with Ready Player Me is very, how do I explain it? It doesn't have like a file type, so it's an integrated API for like a lot of apps that are available. So it is very very easy. But sometimes you can actually download this model next. Good. Let me put it my email. Anyways, I have to sign up. I don't know if I want to sign up right now.
Yeah, that's okay. Can you? We have one more question, right? Sorry to drag you back,
Okay.
but I think you spoke a little bit about this when you were talking about primitives and geography. But Niat has framed the question in an interesting way. So, is it necessary to have an understanding of physics or have algorithms and formulas being catered in the software when we build materials? For example, how a metal ball moves. in land versus water. Yeah. So I think basically the laws of physics, do you need to know them, the way materials interact with the physical world, or will the software snap it like automatically for you?
I don't think you need to know them. So for an experience for spatial is very simple. You don't solve any of those things. You don't have to. You're not creating it. You're not creating like you're not adding physics basically because like it's just pre-added. When you like bring in your model, they already add what's called the collider. So there's a collider on this object. So like when you try to walk through it, you can't pass. This avatar has a collider. So like just very simple. There's a collider here, don't pass through the collider. Anywhere there's a collider, don't pass through it. Simple. But then when you're using something like that's better, like game engine, Unity, Unreal, you now have to like work with physics. But I find that sometimes, yeah, you probably need to know like the basics. Like for example, glass and water. Glass and water are very, very reflective. But like there's something called an IR. So they actually ask you. So the thing about it is like you can actually impute the value, like type I know the IR for glass is like 1.4 something, and it's 1.45 or something like that. Yeah, that's for glass. Then for water is 1.333. IR is basically like what's the word? Like a reflective index. That's a physics thing. I actually knew it because I did physics basically. But it's not necessary. So you can actually have like apart from putting the values, there's a slider. So you can actually just slide through till you get what you're trying to achieve. Sometimes that works. Then from physics, I believe like it's something that is just like for most game ending I've used. I know like most of the time it's just something that you don't need to solve for. Like you don't need to like understand physics for. Basically, if you're watching a tutorial, you probably don't need to understand. Like they might just give you the values. They're just templates to follow. But I don't think I know something I use, and I think maybe I use it because I already know about it. It's like math. So like just trying to like do like some certain things. I'll just like add trying to like know the best dimension for this, know like how high this building should be. Like I made a mistake with this thing now. I'm not sure if it's a mistake or it's just scaling of the chair. But like you go eyeball it. I know you can always eyeball it. So like for example, this glass now, you can see that from here I can see through it. There's sometimes where like you can't actually see through it. It's just very reflective. Like you actually it's like a mirror, it becomes a mirror basically. So like while you're creating, you can just use the slider and eyeball it. Like you're just looking at it and just eyeball. Yeah, this is like good enough glass. This is frosted. This is okay. So I know you could always get away with eyeballing.
Oh yeah, I think we've lost Miracle again. But yeah, we are actually at the end of our 2 hour mark. Um, and I think that we've actually been able to assimilate everything that Miracle has showed us today. Like I said earlier, this is more like a starting point, right? So this is not an expert level course. And I think if that was the goal, I would say we've been successful. So yeah, we will be taking any more questions. But if you have questions, hop on the Telegram and we can always get these questions across to Miracle. Or I can answer some of them if I am able to. But yes, thank you very much for showing up again today. It's been amazing. I've learned so much. I'm sure we all have. We're going to be taking a break again for a few days until next Tuesday when we're going to be talking with Sora DBC. Sora is a graphic designer. So um, some of the things that we've heard today, we're going to be hearing them from I suppose, a 2D perspective, even though that is less of a masterclass and more of a fireside chat, like we had with Lyric last week. So, yeah, we'll publish those links and get everybody invited into the spaces. And then on Wednesday, we're going to talk to, I believe, Chisom, and on Thursday, we're going to talk to Tayo Hena. And then on Friday, we're going to talk to Niat, who is also here with us and has been here in all these spaces. So, looking forward to chatting with everybody and experiencing more knowledge. I'm excited and I'm so proud of what we've been able to do so far in the last couple of weeks. One more sprint to go, and we're gonna have an amazing story to tell. DSA, if you're still here, take it away and just like end the space for us.
Definitely, definitely, definitely. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to our amazing speaker that just got disconnected. Shout out to everybody also that took the time out to be here. Shout out to everybody that's participated in all the sessions so far. Like Jesus said, we just have one last sprint to go and we'll have an amazing, amazing story to tell. Thank you to everybody. I'm excited. I cannot wait for the last part to wrap this up. Please, guys, do not miss any of the spaces. If you have any questions or you have any contributions, you could always join the community. As far as we're having these sessions, we're also a community that cares about the personal growth and development of one another. So please join the community on Telegram, on Discord as well. And let's interact, let's share knowledge, let's share ideas, and let's make it. Let's go out there and be the best version of ourselves that we could possibly be. So yeah, shout out to Float, shout out to everybody that tuned in, shout out to our speakers so far. Everybody have a good night, and I'll catch you all on the next session. All right, guys.
Good night, bro. Good night, everyone.
Good
See
night,
ya.
everybody. Have a great weekend.